Welcome in for another reading. I've already done my grounding ritual, meditated, so let's go ahead and jump in to what messages may be present for you at this time. What messages may you need to know at this time? More recently, I feel like I've been really drawn to information about UAPs. And not necessarily information that is presented in the news or through videos. I just feel like I've had different people or different energies move forward to prompt me to consider UAPs. For example, you all can probably relate to this, but I feel like we all deliver messages to one another when we need to hear it, right? And I believe it was just last week I had what felt like a chance encounter, but as we know, things aren't, there aren't really coincidences, right? But I had this, maybe I can call it a divine encounter with a shaman. And something that she had brought up to me was her connection with extraterrestrial beings and how this is really a beautiful time to tap into those connections. She regularly engages in conversation with them. And a lot of this messaging or a lot of this information coming forth with disclosures and UAPs, different contacts with extraterrestrial beings. I feel like this is another stage of awakening that many of us are experiencing at this time. And how incredible that all of us here, those of you that are feeling connected with me, really tapped into this broadcast. And for those of us that are tapping into this similar frequency, having the sense of knowledge of oh yeah, when we think of divine beings, or tapping into the wisdom that's coming through from different entities, I'm even in my, in my mind's eye, I'm seeing a blue eye, but I'm getting this vision of this blue eye, and maybe that's the evil eye, but it feels very lifelike. And so there's almost as we look to them, they are also looking to us. And there's this wisdom that we can share. I feel like from a human perspective, as we consider, whatever language we want to use to tap into source, right? Whether that's God, the divine, even when we think about entities, there's the highest self, and we can think of that as iterations of ourselves or different frequencies at different octaves, right? Different heights of frequency that we're able to tune into, all of these iterations of ourselves existing within the quantum, parallel universes, all of those things, right? It's so easy for the human self to kind of create these hierarchies, right? Of oh, they're divine, so they're higher than me. And even when we think of a higher octave or a lower octave, higher doesn't necessarily mean better, right? It's how do we remove these judgments or these definitions of these constructs when we're really tapping into what spirituality is, or as we tap into these different dimensions and really going into the 5D and beyond, how do we release these definitions of these constructs when we are using language that is human made, right? And so it's this really interesting cycle that we can kind of get a little lost in, or get a little get stuck in that loop and have that difficulty of being able to move out and really see beyond. And so perhaps you are being called to see beyond what are the constructs of this dimension. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just shuffle one more time like this. I'm noticing that it feels like these cards are getting bigger, which to me, once I start feeling them kind of move out of my hands, like again, like when I'm thinking about the human experience or the human constructs, like even just the element of like control, I notice that at times when I'm shuffling, it feels like it starts with my very humanly self, um, moving through, helping to rearrange these cards to better align with what is present between you and I at this time. And as I'm engaging in that shuffling, it feels energetically like it gets bigger and bigger, like it expands until it moves out of my hands. And so just feeling that even now was really incredible. Let's go ahead and see what messages are here for you. And do another, there we go. Okay. All right. So we see a few different messages coming through for you at this time. I mean, the first card we see is the Priestess of Portals, which is like the embodiment of water in the reverse. Whenever I see the embodiment of water in reverse, I think about how there might be this like deep immersion in the water that wasn't entirely voluntary, at least from the human perspective, right? Like, I mean, from a higher perspective, yes, absolutely, we signed up to engage in this healing, this clearing of karmic energy. But as I'm tapping into this card right now, it feels like you are not in this portal. It's like you're viewing it. You're viewing it. Could there be some resistance there? I mean, let's take a look at your other cards. I mean, we have the 10 of Swords, or the 10 of Activation. So, the 10 of Air here. We have the Hermit, so this contemplative solitude. So an ending of a cycle, really going deep within, traveling those planes within. We also see the 9 of Wands in reverse. So approaching the end of this lesson that you were really examining, the cycle that you were moving through related to the element of fire. There's some resistance of coming towards the end of that, as well as some resistance in the 7 of Pentacles. So this, it's really interesting because even though this is earth energy, right? Like you see this head in the clouds, and in the upright, this can signal like, okay, there's this, this inner knowing of like, I'm going to see the work that I'm doing from a higher perspective. I'm going to see how, the work that I'm doing right now, even though, yes, I'm not able to like really collect the fruit quite yet, right? But it's like taking a step back and seeing, oh, how is what I'm doing today really a part of this larger picture of what I'm doing? With this in the reverse, it might be a little bit difficult to see. It might be a little bit difficult to see where you're at. And it's interesting seeing a few of these reversals, right? Like even, like I mentioned, the 9 of Fire, as well as the Priestess of Water. And so 3 elements here in the reverse. We've got water, earth, and fire. We don't see air in the reverse. Instead, we see that you're really tapping into this element of air. This 10 of Activation, so coming to the end of a cycle related to that air element. So examples of this could be, related to your thoughts, limiting beliefs. Yeah, like your self-dialogue, how you talk with others. It could also be your connection with the Akashic Cloud, tapping into the air that we all share. And how do you communicate these divine blessings, these divine messagings that you channel? So you have done a lot of work in the element of air and are approaching the ending of this. And what's helped you do that is this deep pause of going within. This deep pause of like even look at this card, like resting underneath the soil, being with the mycelium, resting as you're looking up above. Like, look at these planets up here. You know, speaking about like UAPs, it's so interesting to me. It's like this deep sense of wonder and deep connection to what transcends this human experience, while also staying grounded, right? Like this figure is laying in the soil and is able to tap into all of their chakras here. Like we see the heart chakra being especially activated. So really, really drawing from the heart space. And there's something so deeply profound about the heart space, especially when we tap into love, right? Like, you know, when we think about faith in general, it's almost like this belief in something that's intangible but can be felt. And so many of us can lose faith from time to time, which is, again, so normal, so normal. And, you know, there's something really relatable in the sense of like love and how we experience love. Like love is intangible, and yet so many of us feel it so deeply that there's a shared understanding of like, oh, there's this like experience of love, and there may be, you know, some thoughts, behaviors, emotions, somatic sensations, whatever it may be, all associated with love, and it's accepted within many cultures and societies, and there's different language and different understandings around it. So when we think about like the divine, our faith, and like, you know, our spirit team, in tapping into this great beyond of higher dimensions, yes, there's like this, you know, sense of faith that's within it, but that doesn't mean it's not real. You know what I mean? It's something intangible, and yet so many of us can feel it. And I have a feeling that you can feel it too. And that's why you're here. So it seems as though, even though there are like these elements and resistance around you, it's not that these won't flow for you. It's that you have really leaned into this element of air and this deep contemplation. This is where you've been focusing on. This is where you've been putting a lot of your energy into as you've been tapping into these higher dimensions and potentially connecting with E.T.s at this time. Because these other elements, they all feel a little bit more earthbound. Like, you know, here's like the priestess of earth, you know, the priestess, interesting, the priestess of water, the 7 of earth, and then the 9 of fire, all at different stages. You know, I like to see these suits. Like when these come out, these all signal, at least in my current interpretation of the cards and how they come out to me, is that they all signal at like where on the path you are of learning these different lessons and helping to clear karma within this iteration for you. And so we see that you are doing a lot of work in these different areas of your life, like as you work with these different elements and how they show up for you. And it's like you recognize like, okay, yeah, I've done a lot of work here. Like it's, and not that it's like necessarily done, but it's like these things you've been working in, they're like on the periphery. You know that they're like, you're working on healing in these different areas of your life. related to emotional wounding, related to how you navigate the earthly realm and your relationship with material, with abundance, but then also with like your passion and how you use your fire at this time. It's like you're doing that work actively, absolutely. But where your focus has been is really tapping into this air element within you. And it's bringing a lot of blessings to you at this time. I'm really feeling. Let's go ahead and tap into what portals may be present for you. What may be informing this, like tuning into the heart space, these like chakras, like this inner exploration that you're doing. Oh, and how interesting too, seeing the chakras activated and then also seeing the planets here. Oftentimes when I think of the chakras, like, I visualize these vortices, these like energy centers within us that are also portals that we can travel in and out of. But then also, I don't think they're necessarily stationary, at least in my current understanding and reflections on the chakra system. I think it helps us as humans to really think of things in a very linear way. So like, this chakra's here, and then this one's here, and this one's here. And while yes, those are areas, like especially within our physical bodies, where we can tap into those energy centers. But when I really tap into like that visualization of what these different energy centers look like, they emanate really far, and there's like this pulsing, but then there's also this spherical movement, and as there's this expansion and this spherical movement, there may be different densities that get stuck in those orbits, almost like the rings of Saturn, right? And like how there may be different debris on the belt that may be present. And so as we tap into these energy centers, it brings up for me like this idea of like these planets orbiting, like especially around the solar plexus here, because we can think of the solar plexus as like the sun, right? And how each of us carries our own galaxy. Like if we really tap into this idea of like us being made in the image of God, or us being a reflection of what source is, or us, being created from source so that source may experience itself, right? And we talk about being mirror images of one another, of how like we're tapping into the same frequencies, how we're all one, how we're all connected. Well, when we really like look up towards the stars, right? Like the universe, like where we see and witness this infinite expansion, this abundance of stars, of heat, of energy, this like constant movement that has like no end in sight, right? Like it's this constant expansion. We are also the reflection of that. And just like how there are all of these galaxies out there, we too are also galaxies. Like we also are experiencing that. We just may not all see it with our human eyes, our human gaze. And so this to me signals that like, ooh, you in your process of going within, you're tapping into that, and you're seeing what is in your orbit. Ooh, okay, what is in your orbit? Wow. I'd be so curious to hear what is in your orbit. Like if you can leave that down below. But let's see what portals are present for you as you tap into what is in your orbit. So we have, I don't know how to pronounce this, Order of Melchizedek. Embraced by light, mission uncovered, don't give up. Yeah, I mean, examining, like doing that hermit exploration. I mean, that, like, the Hermit is not a card of stagnancy. It's not a card of laziness. It's not like just stillness. It is movement in that stillness. It's exploration. It's intentionality. It's like taking that very intentional walk down those stairs and deep into your psyche and the subconsciousness. We also have a crown chakra upgrade. Hey, divine connection, holy experiences, and miraculous energy. Wow. And then we also have soul star activation. Oh my goodness. Fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. Yeah, it feels like that Hermit energy has really helped you remember who you are. Let's go ahead and read the messages from the book on what is here and present for you. Okay. 112. Landed on 62. Okay. Your message. You have learned so much and are now recognizing all the great lessons your experiences and challenges have brought you. The Order of Melchizedek is coming to you today to encourage you to continue on this pathway and not give up. Even in moments of darkness and fear, there is an opportunity for you to share your light. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's imperative for you to know that you're not alone. Light is with you and within you, and by invoking spiritual support, you will be able to muster up the strength, courage, and focus you need to surmount whatever challenges you face. Wow. Yeah, because there is something about, like, when you start tapping into what is in my orbit, you're also noticing like a lot of densities, right? And seeing those densities can be really confronting, because a lot of those densities are things that, like, ooh, like when that moves through me, my body wants to contract and hold on because it's trying to brace itself from, experiencing the pain that that density moving through may elicit, right? But when those densities move through, it's not meant for us to like constrict and hold. Yes, that is a very normal process. But that constriction is then meant to move into this release, right? And we can think of that like constriction as helping us to really feel into that soft area, or that those aspects within us that density is kind of pushing against, right? That whatever that is eliciting within us, whatever wound that may be activating, that's supposed to signal to us, oh, that is there. Let's, we can constrict, but let's go ahead and release. So that way, as that debris comes again, as that other cycle comes, right, we can feel that, do what we need to do to help like soothe ourselves, whatever strategies that we have and how we're healing. And then we can like release and let it go. And so as that mass continues to orbit, like our auric field, our energetic bodies, each time it comes through, it helps to dislodge yet something else. It helps to dislodge whatever things that we have stuck within our auric field to help us further heal, until that those spots that it pushes against, that elicits those different pains, tend to heal. And then as that energy, that density moves through, it's no longer eliciting that pain, right? Like it's natural for it to move through, and it can bring us like memories, or helping us remember how far we've come, being able to like see what we've healed. So it still may elicit memories, whether that's like visual or somatic, energetic, whatever that might be, but it doesn't like yield that constriction in our bodies again. So as you're doing this work, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like with the message of this card, I feel like what it's telling us is like this examination of what is in your orbit is not always like rainbows and butterflies, I guess. It's like, yes, it can be really painful, and it can bring a lot of grief. And it can bring a lot of flashbacks. It can also, bring us down these like spirals of re-experiencing deep pains that we've had. And we may also realize too, like, oh snap, like that debris, that's not mine. That's like further up in my ancestry. Like, so seeing that is like, it's really confronting. And so the fact that you got this card signals that, yes, like this is really hard work and you're protected in it. Let's look at crown chakra upgrade. I mean, I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but let's see what kind of messages are here for you in this book. So it's on page 58, landed on 40. Okay. Your crown chakra has been upgraded. The spiritual connections you have always had are now being acknowledged. The parts of yourself that you have run from or ignored are being reclaimed. This is an important time, for you are uncovering gifts and wisdom and moving through healing. You may have experienced moments that have tested your faith and your belief in the divine. Know that it's okay and no grievances are being held against you. The Holy Spirit is with you and within you. This is a coming home to your truest self. You are also being encouraged to prepare yourself for miracles. Expect to experience wonder and blessings, for you are being surrounded by healing light. Divine encounters and holy experiences are happening around you. If you had a challenging relationship with spirituality or religion in the past, this has now been healed, and you can move forward in an authentic way, experiencing the divine on a personal level and beyond the limitations of unnecessary dogma. You are connected. I feel like that is coming through so strong. Like, for you to go and do this work, even like just the Hermit card, number 9, I didn't look at that before too. Like really going deep within, healing these wounds for yourself, for your lineage, for the collective ultimately. Like you are witnessing the end of cycles within yourself. Okay, Soul Star activation. Page 135, landed on 110. Through your previous journeys, you have learned much about the inner workings of your soul and about the cycles of karma. Before this incarnation, you set a powerful intention to remember your divine origins. At this point, you are in a powerful space, for you are remembering who you truly are, and you know that you have it within you to make a great difference in your own life, the lives of those you love, and of course, the world. This remembering is in alignment with the soul contracts you made before coming to this realm. If you find yourself worrying if you are making the right decisions, know that even if you aren't conscious of it, all that you have chosen so far is in accordance with your soul's evolutionary plan. And when you draw this gateway, you are opening up on higher levels. I mean, this just feels like such a huge level up, honestly. Like, I mean, even with like the crown chakra upgrade, and then with this card as well, like this ultimate protection, this like, yeah, your crown chakra being upgraded, you're connection with the divine, with source, like this, all this like deep spiritual work that you're doing, it's activating such holiness, such divinity within yourself. Your ability to tap into that and harness that is like really, truly incredible. I am just so honored to meet you at this time in your path. And really, like, this is truly incredible that you're willing to do this work. Thank you so much for doing this work for not only you and your lineage, but for the collective, for myself, for others that you are tapped into. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.